This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Niranjan Abesundara. An updated announcement on isolation orders. The daily coronavirus case tally is on the rise. Intensified vaccination drive continues in all districts. Defence Secretary says no reports of terrorism activities in Sri Lanka. The SJB files fundamental rights petition against arrests under quarantine regulations. Discussion held to amend the bill on the national minimum wage for the private sector. World New WHO says global COVID death toll likely underestimates the real figure. Sports news is cricket. The ICC CEO resigns amid an inquiry over conduct. A Gramilidari division in the Kathura district has been isolated as of 6 a.m. today. The National Operations Centre for COVID-19 Prevention Outbreak said Pimura in the Kakulanda South Gramilidari division of the Agrawata Paris area in Kaluthara was placed under isolation. Meanwhile, isolation imposed in Thalamana Jetty West and Jetty East in the Thalamana Police area in the Manna district was lifted this morning. Isolation imposed on Higal Oya and Mahavatta of the Mavanala Police area in the Kagan district was also lifted. The epidemiology unit of the Health Ministry reported the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country to 269,946. As many as 239,584 recoveries and 3,091 deaths have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the pandemic. Epidemiology unit data showed that 27,011 active cases are currently under medical care. Epidemiology unit of the Health Ministry reported that another 381 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka, moving the daily total of new cases to 1,223. Epidemiology unit of Ministry of Health announced that another 22,010 individuals have been vaccinated against COVID-19 yesterday. Unit said 80 persons received the second dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca Covishield vaccine, while the first dose of the Chinese manufacturing Sinopharm vaccine was administered to 180,368 individuals, and 33,550 persons received the second dose of the Sinopharm vaccine. Meanwhile, 12 individuals received a second jab of the Russian-manufactured Sputnik V vaccine. Accordingly, 4,440,992 vaccine doses have been administered in Sri Lanka, while 1,354,170 persons have been fully vaccinated with the Covishield, Sinopharm, or Sputnik V vaccine thus so far. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne stated that based on the assessments of the intelligence sources, no reports on terror activities or threats have been reported. He was responding to an updated travel advisory on Sri Lanka issued by the US Travel. The United States relaxed its travel ban on Sri Lanka from Level 4, do not travel, to Level 3, reconsider travel, effective from the 6th of July. This travel advisory on Sri Lanka is a periodical revision published by the US State Department under Level 3 category. Although the U.S. travel advisory regarding Sri Lanka has been issued due to COVID-19 situation, the threat on terrorism is also included in the advisory. The Communication Department of Parliament said the bill to amend the national minimum wage for private sector employees in Sri Lanka was discussed at the Ministerial Consultative Committee meeting on Labour chaired by the Minister of Labour, Nimal Siddipala de Silva. Accordingly, it is intended to amend Section 3 of the Minimum Wage of Employees Act No. 3 of 2016 to increase the current minimum monthly wage from 10,000 rupees to 12,500 rupees and the minimum daily wage from 400 rupees to 500 rupees. The release further said that the committee observed this bill does not fall under any prohibition or restriction imposed by the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, and the Attorney General's statutory certification has been referred, attesting that it is in accordance with the Constitution. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
The main opposition party, Samigdana Balawega, today filed 3 fundamental rights petitions in the Supreme Court against the arrest of people carrying out peaceful protests island-wide in accordance with the existing quarantine laws in the country. Director General of Health Services, Inspector General of Police, the Minister of Health and others have been named as respondents in the petition filed by the General Secretary of Samigdana Balawega, MP Ranit Madhu Bandara. Sri Lanka's first ever ship-in-a-box training facility was inaugurated at the Special Boat Squadron headquarters in Trincomalee recently by the Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Nishantha Ulugatana. The facility will be the Navy's first ever fully fledged training model of that caliber with world-class facilities. The Navy's said fully fledged training model was a project sponsored by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime under the Global Maritime Crime Program. That ends local news for now.
Towards a new dimension in innovation, People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Ministry of Education has announced the dates for the 2021 Grade 5 Scholarship Examination and the GCE Advanced Examination. Thereby, the Secretary to the Education Ministry said Grade 5 Scholarship Examination has been scheduled for October 3rd, 2021. Meanwhile, the GCE A-Level examination will take place from October 4th to the 31st of October this year. These exams were previously scheduled to be held on these days. However, Education Minister Professor G.L. Pieris, in response to a question raised during the Parliament session yesterday, stated that a decision on postponing or holding of these exams would be taken after a discussion with the relevant authorities. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Department of Examinations announced that accepting recorrection applications for the 2020 GCE Advanced Examination papers had commenced. Applications can be submitted by visiting the official website at www.doenets.lk or through DOE, the mobile application of the examining department, before the 10th of July. That came to you in Watchlight. On to sports news. The WHO says global COVID death toll likely underestimates the real figure. The UNSC discusses Ethiopia dam amid strained ties with Egypt and Sudan. Olympic torch relay kicks off in Tokyo. According to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University, the global death toll from COVID-19 has passed 4 million confirmed cases as the virus continues to ravage countries with low vaccination coverage. 1 million COVID deaths were recorded in the past 2.5 months alone, yet it took 9 months to reach the 1 million death mark. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus stressed that the world was at a perilous point in this pandemic, adding that 4 million milestone likely underestimates the overall toll. The United Nations Security Council tackled a bitter regional dispute on Thursday over a massive dam built by Ethiopia on the main tributary of the Nile River. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is the source of an almost decade-long diplomatic standoff between Ethiopia and downstream nations Egypt and Sudan. Ethiopia said the project is essential to its development, but the governments in Cairo and Khartoum fear it could restrict their citizens' water access. On Tuesday, the UN called on 3 countries to recommit to talks on the project's operation and urged them to avoid any unilateral action. The torch relay for the Tokyo Olympics will kick off in Japanese capital today for the last leg of its journey with an unusual format. The relay was originally scheduled to take place on public roads, but all Tokyo municipalities except for the island decided to reorganize the event into lighting ceremonies to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Only torchbearers and other people directly involved will be allowed to take part in the event to avoid crowding. The revamped relay will continue through July 23rd, the day of the opening ceremony. And back to the headlines of the world news. The WHO says global COVID death toll likely underestimates the real figure. UNSC discusses Ethiopia dam amid strained ties with Egypt and Sudan. Olympic torch relay kicks off in Tokyo. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
700 million rupees will be allocated for the organic fertilizer production project implemented by the Land Reforms Commission under the Ministry of Lands. Organic fertilizer produced by this project, which is in operation under the guidance and instruction of the Land Minister S.M. Chandrasena, will be sold to the Ministry of Agriculture, and the proceeds for the sale will be cycled back to the production of organic fertilizer. The project proposed to be implemented island-wide has received cabinet approval. That was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On to sports news. It's Cricket International Cricket Council CEO Manu Soni on Thursday resigned from his position 4 months after his allegedly abrasive conduct came under the scanner during an internal investigation, prompting the world body to send him on leave. Cricket World Body said in a statement the chief executive will leave the organization with immediate effect and Jeff Adas will continue as acting CEO. Tennis news. The world number one Novak Djokovic, who won the Grass Grand Slam in 2018-2019, faces Canada's 10th seed Denis Shapovalov in the semi-finals today. Djokovic is bidding to win his 20th Grand Slam, an achievement that would draw him level with Federer and Rafael Nadal at the top of the all-time list for men's major singles. Meanwhile, world number one Ashley Barty will play Czech 8th seed Karolina Pliskova in tomorrow's Wimbledon final. It'll be the first final at the All-England club for both Barty, age 25, and 29-year-old Pliskova. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Tokyo Summer Olympics is almost here, and Sri Lanka is sending her largest ever delegation to the Games. Lowy is proud to press our Olympic athletes and delegates from the opening ceremony on July 23rd, the crown jewel event when all countries will march together in Olympic solidarity. Inspired by the notion of Olympic harmony, Lowy designed the Team Sri Lanka outfits based on its Unity collection for the global affair. That is Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Colombo Stock Exchange has taken the initiative to introduce a new over-the-counter platform to carry out repo transactions on debt securities. This new mechanism is introduced as a significant initiative in the product expansion lineup of the CSE, projected towards establishing a vibrant repo market for debt securities listed on the CSE. The new OTC platform established to carry out repo transactions on debt securities will create a further regularized opportunity for investors, trading members, and other corporates involved in the fixed income securities market in Sri Lanka. That was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Met Department forecast showers or thunder showers to occur at times in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected in some places in the Kandy, Norelia, Galle and Mathura districts. Met Department further predicts shower thunder shower to occur at several places in the northern province and at a few places in the eastern and Nuwa provinces during the evening or night. The department also cautions strong gust of winds up to 60 kilometers per hour are likely at times on the western slopes of central hills, and gust of winds up to 50 kilometers are in the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines of the news, an updated announcement on isolation orders. The daily coronavirus case tally is on the rise. Intensified vaccination drive continues in all districts. Defense Secretary says no reports of terrorism activities in Sri Lanka. SJB files fundamental rights petition against arrests under quarantine regulations. Discussion held to amend the bill on the national minimum wage for the private sector. In world news, WHO say the global COVID death toll likely underestimates the real figure. Sports news is cricket. The ICC CEO resigns amid an inquiry over conduct. With that, we end afternoon news.